Okay, so I have a ritual for you. I have a ritual for you if your life is fucked. I have a ritual for you if you are stagnating, if you're stuck in a rut, if your life has no motion. There is great magical significance in motion, in moving, in dance, in sex, in running until you hit a flow state, theta, brainwaves. But this one is for non-magical practitioners. This one's for just like, I'm fucked and I'm scrolling and I'm clicking from video to video to video to video. I'm just on a loop. I'm on a depressive loop that where day turns into night, turns into day, and I have to do something immediately to break myself out of this cycle. If you are a magical person, if you're a practicing person, if you're someone who regularly engages in ceremony or in rite or in ritual or in meditation or in contemplative walks in nature, then yeah, okay, maybe this one's not for you. But you'd be surprised how many people don't go outside often into nature. There is something about nature, there's an awe factor. There's something about the scale and the beauty of nature that really reminds us of our own mortality, of how fleeting and temporal life is. But if you're an urbanite or a suburbanite and your life consists of moving from the place where you sleep on a commute to a job and then back again, and maybe you really can't take 15 minutes to just sit, because maybe the ADHD and the social conditioning and the addiction to the scroll is so deep that you just simply can't sit 15 minutes away from your phone. But maybe you can put a timer on your phone for 15 minutes and just leave, just walk in any fucking direction and without purpose. Just walk. Something really fucking weird happens in the human mind when you walk without a purpose, when you walk instead with intent towards a question. For the entire 15 minutes that you walk, just ponder death. Just think about your own death. Contemplate the void, the abyss, the end of human existence. And listen, I know that this is morbid. I understand the difficulty in this. But for 15 to 20 minutes, just walk and just imagine. Imagine getting sick. Imagine contracting some kind of debilitating disease. Imagine your legs stop working. And then all your other organs, one by one, just start shutting down. Really go there. Really create a little temporal bubble of pain and sit in it. That's 15 minutes where the typical neurological or psychological rules are suspended. 15 minutes where you allow your brain to go to the one place that you never allow it to go. And you, conversely, you don't go anywhere really either, right? No destination, no errand. You don't go, quickly, I'll just nip out on a death walk while I go to deliver this post. No, you have no reason to be walking other than walking. And when your phone buzzes and the alarm goes off, beep, 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 you turn 180 degrees in the other direction and you walk back. But this time, instead of contemplating your own death for the 15-minute return journey, you just think about the next 24 hours. About what you're going to do, about who you're going to see, about who you're going to speak to, about how you're going to speak to them, and about what you're going to achieve just the next 24 hours. You go down for 15 minutes into the underworld, you face the thing, and the idea is that you come back slightly different. You walk towards death. You literally point yourself physically and mentally at death and you walk for 15 minutes. Something shifts on the walk back home. I promise you. Tibetan monks have this practice where they walk and they visualize their own corpses rotting. They visualize the skin falling off of their bones eventually turning into dust. They train themselves to recognize death so intimately that when it actually arrives, they don't give a fuck. Oh, death. Oh, it's you. Mexican families have this weird tradition where they walk in cemeteries around dusk on Dia de los Muertos. They spend the night with the dead and then they walk home at dawn. There's something liminal about day turning into night and night turning into day, about dusk and about dawn. It's a fantastic time to do this. It's a liminal time. It's a threshold time. And that's what your walk does. It creates a kind of threshold, a little pocket where you can safely touch what is normally untouchable. The Norse had this practice called utiseta, where they would go into extremely wild and dangerous places and just sit alone overnight, hoping to receive visions. There are these bizarre grimoire texts, magical texts from medieval Europe, like manuals titled things like The Art of Dying. The Japanese have a concept called mono no oware. I'm not even going to try and do a Japanese accent. But it basically means like the bittersweetness of impermanence. They use cherry blossoms falling to symbolize this. The ancient Romans used to keep skulls, human skulls, on their desk, a tradition I continue to this day, albeit with replicas. And medieval monks used to refer to this ancient Roman practice as a memento mori, basically remembering that you're going to die. You can make this depressive if you want. You can make this morbid if you want. But what actually happens when you internalize the fact that you're going to die? And that it's probably going to happen sooner than you think? Something happens, like all the bullshit falls away. That argument with your co-worker, the grudge that you've been nursing against your spouse, all seems extremely insignificant in the face of death. All those ego issues, your fear of looking stupid, your fear of sounding like an idiot. Weirdly, actually, it's not grim at all. It's extremely liberating. So where do you go? Well, anywhere works. But obviously, liminal places are better. A walk through the woods by moonlight is better. A cemetery is better. Crossroads are better. Beaches and forests and the edges between places. Walk across a bridge late at night. I appreciate the risk that I'm taking here by telling a certain sort of person to do this, but hey, alas, you want to snap yourself out of it, don't you? What about that weird industrial zone between residential neighborhoods? A place where two worlds touch. When do you do it? Well, daytime is cool. Anytime is cool. But like I say, threshold times, dawn, dusk. Maybe even seasonal thresholds. An equinox death walk. Samhain or Halloween approaches. I hear the veil is getting thin. Well, what do you think about when you take this walk? Well, you don't force yourself into darkness. You don't force yourself to be sad and to dwell on the thoughts of all of your loved ones crying at your funeral. But what you do is you notice the impermanence of existence. Look around you at the leaves changing, at the buildings aging, and recognize that everything is temporary. Think about what is actually precious. And think about why it's precious, because it's finite. Watch your worries shrink away. Watch your values grow in front of your eyes. And when the alarm goes off, heel turn, 180, walk home. If it gets heavy, if it gets sad, if it gets overwhelming, Try and come back to your body. Try and feel your feet. Try and focus on your breathing. The point is not to induce some kind of fucking trauma in yourself and scare yourself. You're not trying to do the spiritual equivalent of scaring yourself straight. You're trying to become familiar and comfortable with death. The walk home actually matters a lot more than most people realize. The walk home is where you integrate what has happened. This is where you get your shamanic revelations. And this is where the real danger is also. There is a real danger of going back down into the underworld. So what you have to do is you have to process what you've experienced. You have to kind of channel your insights. And you have to reframe your perspective. You have to notice how the same streets are looking slightly different now. What actually happens when you make friends with death, and not in a creepy way, just in a, this is part of reality, this is part of me, I am part of this too kind of way, is that death starts to become familiar instead of looming over you with terror. You can, in effect, take hold of death's control, death's power over you. If you want to quit your job and try something weird, fear of failure is like a little death of the ego, and you have to practice these things. If you want to tell somebody that you love them, well, rejection is like a little death of possibility. So you're going to need to practice these things. You need to be on friendly terms with death. You want to make something, you want to move somewhere, you want to be someone. All of this requires killing who you were. And guess what? You're going to have to rehearse. It seems stupid, right? Meditation seems fucking stupid. What, I just sit here in silence on my own for 15 minutes? Yeah, you do. But it's in these small, tiny, ritualized acts of mundanity that we can actually have these insane transformational moments. You won't actually think about death for 15 minutes. That's impossible. Your mind will wander to dinner, to the text message that you need to reply to whether or not you actually locked the door when you left. But it's fine. It's perfect, actually. Because just 15 minutes becoming just 5 minutes of genuine death contemplation. Fuck it. 5 seconds of genuine death contemplation plants a seed in you that will grow over time. Because you're practicing something that you're eventually going to have to do for real. And practice makes perfect. The way you get good at dying is by regularly dancing with death. You become familiar with death. You recognize death as an inevitable part of life. And you say, hey, death isn't just waiting for me. I'm waiting for him too. Ironically, people who engage in these kind of practices, people who are spiritually at peace, people who do engage in regular contemplative meditation, they live longer. They literally live longer. So it might sound lame and it might sound simple and it might sound like I'm being dramatic and I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but that's the whole point of the spell. That's the whole point of the ritual. Set a timer, go on a walk, think about that thing that you usually do anything to avoid. And then when the alarm goes off, turn around and come home. Think about what you're going to do with the next 24 hours. I promise you, you apply yourself to this practice, you treat it with the respect it deserves, take a death walk, it change your life.